We live in a society that pushes us to be in constant motion. Productivity is seen as the measure of our value, and the idea that we are more valuable when busy permeates our work, studies, and even personal relationships. The pursuit of doing as many activities as possible in a single day has become a virtue, but in this frantic pace, something essential is left behind: rest. Rest is often seen as a luxury, something to be earned only after achieving goals. In our packed schedules, it's viewed as a break between responsibilities. We live in a hyper-connected world where we're always available, yet paradoxically, we are more exhausted than ever. But when was the last time you truly allowed yourself to stop without guilt or hurry? In a world that exalts doing, genuine rest has almost become a forgotten concept. Our bodies may be at rest, but our minds keep going, creating a superficial rest that doesn't truly renew us. Here's the big paradox. True rest goes beyond a physical break. It is a process of deep renewal that involves the body, mind, and spirit. It's not just a gap between tasks, but an essential part of our journey, necessary to restore our energy and reconnect with our essence. The goal of this video is to explore rest in a deeper, more transformative way. We'll reflect on what it truly means to rest, how to integrate rest into our daily lives, and how it can help us achieve lasting balance. Now, I invite you to reflect. Have you truly allowed yourself to rest, or has it just been a quick break? Let's explore together the path to reclaiming genuine rest in our lives. Philosophical rest. When we think of rest, the first thing that comes to mind is usually a physical break, stopping work, relaxing a bit. But if we look at rest from a philosophical perspective, it takes on much greater depth. Rest is not just an interruption of work, but a vital practice for our spiritual and emotional health. It offers us the balance we need to recharge not just the body, but also the mind and soul. Let's consider Heraclitus, a philosopher from ancient Greece. For him, the world is in constant flux. Nothing is permanent except change. To Heraclitus, rest is not an interruption of this change, but an essential part of it. He believed that to be in harmony with life, we need to learn to stop every once in a while. These pauses allow us to absorb what has already happened, restore our energy, and then move forward with more clarity and wisdom. This moment of pause is what we call deep rest. It's not passive inactivity, but an active pause, where we process what we've lived through and renew our strength for the next step. Rest, then, becomes an essential part of the flow of life, necessary for us to continue with more wisdom and direction. If Heraclitus teaches us about the flow of life, Aristotle, another great philosopher, speaks about the balance between activity and rest. For Aristotle, true happiness, or eudaimonia, is not achieved through extremes, but through moderation. He believed virtue lies in the middle ground between action and pause. For him, rest is not an escape from responsibilities, but an essential practice of balance. Rest allows us to reflect, recover our strength, and prepare for what lies ahead. Therefore, rest is a virtue necessary for us to live a full and balanced life. When we integrate rest in a healthy way, we are creating space for our mind and body to renew and for us to reflect on our choices. Taoism, with the concept of wu-wei, takes this even further. Wu-wei, which can be translated as non-action, teaches us that rest is not an interruption, but a surrender to the natural flow of life. It's not about doing nothing, but about allowing things to happen with fluidity and harmony, without resistance. In Taoism, rest is not an attempt to escape life's demands, but a way of aligning with that natural flow. By practicing rest, as Taoism teaches, our energy recharges effortlessly, allowing us to connect with something greater than the constant pressure to produce.
The idea of balance between action and rest, therefore, crosses different philosophical and spiritual traditions. Rest is not just a physical break, but an essential practice for our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. When we integrate rest in a balanced way, we are not only renewing our energy, but also cultivating the virtue that guides us toward a fuller, more conscious life. And for you, what does it mean to truly rest? Have you ever stopped to reflect on that? Rest is not just a break between tasks, but a fundamental moment for our growth and well-being.
Spiritual rest. When we talk about rest, we often limit it to the physical or mental aspect, resting the body after a long day of work or giving the mind a break from the worries of everyday life. But spiritual rest goes much deeper. It transcends the need to simply stop and rest. Spiritual rest is a practice of internal transformation that allows us to reconnect with our essence, the divine, and the natural flow of life. Spiritual rest, then, is not just about stepping away from the obligations of the external world. It is, above all, a space of surrender, where we allow ourselves to put aside distractions, pressures, and the frantic pace of modern life to turn inward. It is in this space of quietude that true renewal can happen. This rest is not just a simple physical rest, but a rest for the soul, where we find new energy, clarity, and inner peace. In many spiritual traditions around the world, rest is seen as an act of trust in the divine, a surrender to the natural flow of life. The central idea is that when we allow ourselves to rest deeply, we are in fact surrendering to something greater than ourselves, the universe or the divine force that guides us. It's as if, by stopping and surrendering to rest, we are recognizing that we do not need to control everything. There is something greater taking care of us, allowing us to relax and regenerate. In Christianity, mystics like Saint John of the Cross and Saint Teresa of Avila spoke about the importance of spiritual rest, especially in silence and contemplation. For them, rest was not just a break from daily tasks, but a way of opening up to the presence of God. Spiritual rest, then, is a moment where the soul finds peace and opens up to a deeper experience of union with the divine. In his writings, St. John of the Cross described the process of spiritual rest as a dark night of the soul, a state of quiet where the soul sheds all distractions and completely surrenders to God. This type of rest is not passive, but active, as it is in quietude and surrender that the soul is purified and prepared for a deeper connection with the divine. This process of spiritual rest is transformative because by allowing our mind to quiet and our will to surrender, we experience a renewal that goes beyond the physical. In Buddhism, the practice of meditation is an essential form of spiritual rest. The goal of meditation is not just to relax the mind, but to reach a deeper state of consciousness, where we can connect with our true nature. Meditation teaches us to quiet the mind, observe our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them, and enter a state of inner peace and harmony. Spiritual rest in Buddhism, therefore, is not a superficial break, but a constant practice of presence and mindfulness, where the person becomes aware of the present moment and their connection with the whole. By practicing meditation and spiritual rest, we seek to go beyond distractions and the ego, allowing us to access a deeper dimension of our consciousness. In other traditions, like Sufism, spiritual rest is also connected to the concept of surrender and devotion. Sufis believe that silence and stillness are fundamental for drawing closer to God and achieving a state of union with the divine. Quietude is not seen as a mere absence of noise, but as a state of receptivity, where the soul can absorb the presence of the infinite love, and through that, transform. Spiritual rest, therefore, involves a process of surrendering to the natural flow of life, to universal harmony, or to the divine, allowing us to access higher and deeper states of consciousness. It is not about escaping life,
but about allowing ourselves to enter a state of surrender where the mind and body calm and we reconnect with our deepest essence. This type of rest is deep, transformative, and regenerative because it not only relieves the tensions of everyday life, but also brings us clarity, peace, and connection to something greater. Beyond formal religious and spiritual practices, spiritual rest can also be cultivated in our daily lives. It can be found in simple moments of pause and reflection, in a mindful walk through nature, in a few minutes of meditation, or even in reading texts that nourish the soul. What matters is that in these moments, we disconnect from external pressures and turn inward, creating a space of silence and inner peace where true transformation can happen. Spiritual rest is therefore a practice of deep renewal. It allows us to silence the mind, release accumulated stress, and create space for introspection and connection with our essence. When we rest spiritually, we not only regenerate our energy, but also align with the natural flow of life, allowing wisdom and serenity to reveal themselves. This rest is above all a process of transformation.
Rest in neuroscience, recharging the mind and body. Although philosophical and spiritual traditions have emphasized the importance of rest for centuries, modern neuroscience is beginning to reveal just how essential this concept is for our physical and mental well-being. Rest is not just a brief pause from the tasks of everyday life. It is a fundamental biological process, crucial for our mental, emotional, and physical health. The impact of rest on the brain and the body is deeper than we imagine, and science is increasingly showing how it helps us recharge our energy and maintain balance in our health. The importance of deep sleep. Sleep is, without a doubt, the type of rest most studied by neuroscience, and it's easy to understand why. During sleep, both the body and the brain undergo essential processes of recovery and regeneration. The brain, for example, does not just rest, it performs critical tasks for our mental health. During the deeper stages of sleep, such as REM and slow-wave sleep, also known as deep sleep, the brain is dedicated to memory consolidation. This means the experiences of the day are processed and stored, helping us learn and retain information. Additionally, during deep sleep, the brain also eliminates accumulated toxins, including beta-amyloid proteins, which have been linked to the development of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. In the body, sleep also plays a crucial role in cellular regeneration. During deep sleep, the body releases growth hormones that assist in tissue repair, muscle regeneration, and maintaining the immune system. This is particularly important for those with hectic lifestyles and constant stress, as adequate rest is essential for repairing the impact of chronic stress on the body. The role of rest in stress relief. When we are stressed, our body releases cortisol, the stress hormone, which prepares the body for the fight or flight response. While cortisol is necessary in moments of danger, continuous exposure to stress leads to excessive cortisol release, damaging the immune system and affecting mental health. This is where deep rest becomes crucial. It helps reduce cortisol levels in the body, allowing the nervous system to recover and recalibrate. Regular rest, both physical and mental, is one of the most effective ways to mitigate the negative effects of chronic stress. Practices like proper sleep and conscious breaks throughout the day can help restore hormonal balance by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for recovery and relaxation. This rest mode helps lower heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing, creating a calm state that facilitates physical and mental regeneration. Rest and creativity. Another significant benefit of rest is its impact on creativity and problem-solving. While many believe that constant work and intense mental stimulation are the best ways to generate innovative ideas, science reveals that rest can actually improve our ability to think creatively.
Studies show that when the brain is well rested, it has a greater capacity to make unexpected connections between different ideas, helping to generate creative solutions to complex problems. Matthew Walker's research, a renowned sleep expert, shows that sleep deprivation severely impairs our ability to solve problems creatively. However, when the brain receives the necessary rest, it becomes more efficient at finding innovative solutions. This happens because during sleep and other forms of deep rest, the brain organizes and processes the day's experiences, allowing creative thinking to flow more smoothly and be more accessible when we're awake. Moreover, during rest, especially REM sleep, the brain can access past memories and experiences, which helps in problem solving and innovation. Instead of simply undergoing a passive rest experience, the brain continues to work unconsciously, reorganizing information and creating new patterns. This phenomenon explains why solutions to problems often arise after a good night's sleep or after a period of relaxation. The effect of lack of rest on mental health. The negative impact of insufficient rest on mental health is evident. Sleep deprivation and lack of adequate breaks during the day are linked to increased symptoms of anxiety, depression, and irritability. When we don't get enough rest, our brains become more prone to impulsive emotional reactions, making it harder to cope with stress in a balanced way. Additionally, lack of rest also impairs our cognitive abilities, such as decision-making and working memory. A tired brain is less efficient at performing complex tasks and more prone to mistakes. In stressful situations, proper rest can be the key to restoring the ability to make clear and objective decisions. Rest practices for mental health and well-being. Neuroscience also shows that rest is not just about sleep. There are other practices that can improve mental and physical health even when we're not sleeping. Techniques like meditation and physical exercise are powerful tools to recharge the body and mind. Meditation, for example, has been scientifically proven to reduce anxiety, improve emotional control, and even increase resilience. By practicing meditation, our mind enters a deep rest state, activating the parasympathetic nervous system and reducing blood pressure, helping to restore emotional balance. Physical exercise, although requiring energy, can also serve as a form of mental rest. When we exercise, the body releases endorphins, which are chemicals responsible for the feeling of pleasure and well-being. Therefore, physical movement not only improves cardiovascular health, but also serves as an effective way to relieve the accumulated stress and improve mood. In summary, rest is not just about stopping work or sleeping a little longer. It is a biological process deeply integrated into our functioning. Neuroscience has shown that adequate rest is essential for our cognitive, emotional, and physical performance. When we rest enough, our minds become clearer, our emotions more balanced, and our bodies better prepared to face life's challenges. Investing in rest, whether through adequate sleep, meditation, or conscious breaks, is essential for our mental health, creativity, and decision-making abilities. As we have shown, rest is a practice that goes beyond simple inactivity. It is, in fact, an essential tool to optimize our health, productivity, and quality of life. Deep and spiritual rest practices. In the fast pace of everyday life, we often forget that rest is not limited to sleep. Deep and spiritual rest is essential for our renewal, balancing body, mind, and spirit. It provides us with a space to restore our energy in a deep and transformative way, reconnecting us with our inner being. Meditation, the gateway to deep rest. Meditation is one of the most powerful practices for achieving deep, regenerative rest. When we meditate, our mind slows down, entering a state of profound relaxation. This state goes beyond physical rest, allowing the brain to reach theta and delta brain waves, which are essential for mental and emotional regeneration. These waves are the same ones that occur during deep sleep, helping the brain process emotions, resolve accumulated tension, and clear toxins. Practices such as mindfulness meditation, which connects us to the present moment, and transcendental meditation, which uses mantras to achieve deeper relaxation, are powerful tools for slowing down the mind. The rest that comes from meditation is not just physical, it is a spiritual and mental renewal. Conscious breathing. Simplicity with great impact. A simple and effective way to achieve deep rest is through conscious breathing. Techniques such as deep abdominal breathing or square breathing, which involves inhaling, holding, and exhaling at regular intervals, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting calm and reducing stress. These practices can be done at any time of the day. Have you ever thought about dedicating a few minutes to deep breathing while working or before going to sleep? Conscious breathing can help restore emotional balance and promote a state of serenity, making it an accessible tool for rest in the middle of the day's hustle. Sensory deprivation, total rest. A less common but extremely effective practice is sensory deprivation. Floating in a saltwater tank, isolated from sensory stimuli, the body and mind enter a state of absolute rest. This isolation promotes a total disconnection from the outside world and allows for profound mental and emotional renewal. How to begin your journey of deep rest. Starting to incorporate these practices into your day doesn't have to be complicated. Try starting with 10 to 15 minutes of meditation or conscious breathing, either in the morning or before bed. Throughout the day, take breaks for activities that slow your mind, such as peaceful walks or simply listening to relaxing music. Digital detox is also essential. Avoiding screens before bed helps prepare the brain for restorative sleep. Reflection on deep rest. Now, think about this. How can small changes transform your routine and help you achieve deep rest? There's no need to wait for a grand retreat. Deep rest can be found in simple, daily moments that promote balance and renewal. By integrating practices like meditation and conscious breathing into your life, you will create a continuous flow of physical, mental, and spiritual renewal. Deep rest is a daily habit, and by making it a priority, you will be creating a more balanced, creative, and healthy life.
Throughout this video, we've seen that rest is not a luxury, but a fundamental necessity for the balance between body, mind, and spirit. Incorporating deep rest practices, such as meditation and conscious breathing, can transform our physical, mental, and emotional health, helping us live in a fuller and more balanced way. Resting is not about escaping responsibilities, but an active way of taking care of ourselves. By slowing down, we restore our energy, increase our mental clarity, and reconnect with our true essence. When practiced intentionally, rest is the first step toward lasting transformation. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to leave a like, share it with others who could benefit from this reflection, and subscribe to the channel for more content on how to live a more balanced and transformative life. Thank you for watching. Remember, rest is the key to your well-being. Start today.